use the extruder, you must clean the extruder. So first we take the extruder apart by removing the plunger and the dies. Here I used two dies to make coils. I used a round, the one with many round holes, and then I had to use a blinder to just select the size of the coil that I wanted for here. So I must remove and scrape both of those. When you use two, it's really important not to forget one. Sometimes they can be embedded in the clay. So I'm scraping the clay. Here I'm using these blue plastic rigid 3M spreaders that I find really useful in the studio. And I'm removing this plastic clay from all of the tools, the dies and the die holder, a little bit off camera here. It's much easier to clean the extruder when the clay inside is plastic, so immediately after extruding. As the clay dries, it becomes a little more difficult to remove. And when you remove the wet clay from the extruder, you can reclaim it. So there's two good reasons to remove the clay right away while it's still plastic. Once you have scraped the plunger, the die, and the die holder, you can sponge the whole thing off and put those things away. Next, you will scrape and sponge the main cylinder of the extruder. So here I have the blue plastic scraper again, and I'm reaching in from both the bottom and the top. Depending on how your extruder is mounted, you may not need to do that, but this one's mounted pretty high, so I have to come in from the top and the bottom, and being careful to remove all of the plastic clay. Then I will sponge the extruder clean, leaving it ready for the next person. It's important not to leave any clay in the extruder or on the accessories, as they could contaminate the clay, especially if the next user is using a different clay body. Be sure to return all of the accessories, the die holder, and the plunger back to where they belong, so they'll be ready for your next use.